Hello and welcome to Simple Scotch Reviews. Here we have the Glendronach 10 Portwood. It's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey bottled at 46% ABV. It is natural color and not chill filtered. This whiskey is definitely an addition to Glendronach's great line. We can dive into it here. Just to note, it is sherry matured and then finished in port. It's not bourbon first and then port. Right away on this whiskey, the fruit hits you. I mean, it's sherry matured and port finished. It's just a lot of fruit going on. Berry, plum, all of it doused in sugar because it's just sweet and fruit. There's a whole bunch of chocolate in there too for me. Milk chocolate specifically, not dark chocolate. That's pretty much it. Fruit and chocolate. The only other note I pick up is this very hinted note, but it's there, and it's aromatic wood. So they describe it as sandalwood in their official tasting notes. I've heard it described as sandalwood in Johnny Walker Blue as well. This whiskey's nothing like Johnny Walker Blue, but it has that same aromatic wood note that I get in there and I love in there. And I was very pleasantly surprised that this whiskey had it as well. I initially thought it was like a cedar note. Either way, it's aromatic wood. It's a hinted note. It's very subtle, but I don't get it in many whiskeys. I've only ever had it in two whiskeys, this and Johnny Walker Blue. Besides that note, completely different whiskeys. Don't change your expectation of this by me mentioning Johnny Walker Blue for good or for bad. The mouthfeel is not what I expected right away, but it is kind of syrupy, oily later on. I was expecting a thicker mouthfeel right on the front. There's a whole lot of fruit. Like I said on the nose, I get those berries, plum, dark fruits just doused in sugar. I get those same fruits also doused in sugar on the palate. Maybe even a little more sugar. It is a very sweet whiskey. I don't have a problem with that. Some people might find it off-puttingly sweet. I did take some time with this whiskey to pick apart the notes, so I'm just pulling those out here. For me, there's an obvious cherry note. Cherry and chocolate. There's also those other berry notes like blackberry. I definitely get blackberry, but cherry and chocolate are the two that jump out. I haven't had cherry notes in many Scotch whiskeys. It's just normally I pick out other fruits, but for me, this one, cherry is definitely in there. And one unique thing that I found was I was surprised and have to every time I try it, I'm surprised that that first flavor, that cherry and chocolate, doesn't really foreshadow that when the finish starts lingering, that orange shows up, but that citrusy orange shows up, and that was a pleasant surprise. Baking spice and orange show up in the finish, but before that lingering finish, there's not really any change during the palate for me. It's a very long and lingering finish. And let's check the notes. Didn't get anything else. I also did note no tropical fruits like your banana, pineapple. None of those kind of tropical fruits show up here. I didn't really expect them to at all, but with the sherry and port, but there's some citrus. Overall, it's a must-try whiskey. You may be disappointed. I think the only way you're going to be disappointed is if you find it overbearingly sweet. I don't think it is. I shared some with my father. He's one that if something's too sweet and cloying, he's not going to like it at all. He enjoyed the whiskey. I think that this is definitely on the edge of too sweet, but it's a great after dinner dessert type Scotch. But excellent Scotch. Those of you wondering how it compares to other Portwood Scotches in the price range, I really enjoyed Dalmore Portwood Reserve, also bottled at a similar ABV as I recall. I think it's also 46 or 46.5% ABV. Um, I'd give the nod to this one. I may have to do a side by side review. I think I still do. Yeah, I have a bottle of that Dalmore Portwood Reserve, but it's close. But this one, I think, would edge it. Who knows? Maybe when I do that review of both of them together, I'll say this one blows it out of the water or something. But that one also has fruit and chocolate notes, as I recall. Not not unexpected differences. Um, I would say that the Quinta Ruban's trickier. I'd have a harder time getting this whiskey if Quinta Ruban 12 still existed. I loved that whiskey. It was cheaper than this one. They replaced it with the 14 year, which I'm not going to hold to the same tier as this at all. 14 year does not live up to this one. I was really hoping that that 14 year was going to be a dramatic improvement of the 12. I loved the 12, but I was hoping that 14 was just going to be outstanding. Did not live up to that. I'll have to do a review of it at some point. I don't have a bottle of it right now, so we'll see if I can get my hands on some for the review. Um, Either way, if you like port aged whiskeys, sherry aged whiskeys, any whiskey in general, try this whiskey. Doesn't drink young at all. It's not harsh or anything like that. If you gave it to me and didn't tell me the age, I probably would in a blind tasting guess that it's older. But either way, definite must try. I hope it joins their permanent lineup. Thanks for watching.